Special consideration provided by
Alice loves the scent of Gain so much, she wished there was a way to make it last longer. Say hello to your fairy godmother, Alice. And long-lasting Gain scent beads, part of the irresistible scent collection from Gain.
Do not forget, Constance Zimmer joins Good Trouble tonight on Freeform. And by the way, you have to get back to the set. You're directing, too.
That's right. Double dipping.
I love that you're handling all that business. Thank you for helping us out. One more question. Would you ever go on one of those celebrity reality shows like The Masked Singer, maybe?
No.
Happening now. We were able to thaw out during the day today, but another round of wintry weather, including sleet and snow, is on the way. I'll be back with more details in a few minutes.
A local hospital seeing a rise in hypothermia cases as residents struggle to stay warm. Coming up, experts share signs and prevention tips.
As the temperatures fall, the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning rises. The warning signs you need to look out for and what precautions you need to take when trying to keep yourself and your family warm. The winter weather just continues. Not only are we worried about power, we're also worried about water. SAWS issuing a boil water notice. What that means coming up. The news at 5 starts right now. Winter weather still coming down in San Antonio, closing stores, closing highways, and leaving thousands of people without power and now without water.
Though today was a little bit warmer, there is still more to come. Adam Caskey joining us now with a look at what we have ahead. Adam.
We've got another round of wintry weather on the way. That's what we're facing. And we had a chance to thaw out today. We made it into the 40s. Temperatures are going to fall off again tonight. Combine that with more precipitation on the way. And it's going to be mixed precipitation out there. Here's a look at our futurecast. This particular one, I think, does the best at really illustrating what to expect tonight and on into tomorrow. So take a look at the map, locate your home here, your position on the map. We'll go through time. It's going to start as rain in Del Rio later on tonight, but quickly spread eastward and become mixed precipitation here in San Antonio. Some freezing rain and sleet, light in nature, but problematic, of course. And then changing over to a widespread wintry mix early tomorrow morning with some ice and especially snow accumulations by tomorrow afternoon. So travel disruptions again. And it looks like the primary accumulations will be roughly the Highway 90 corridor, but even up into the hill country and just south of Highway 90 into San Antonio. I'll be back to break down how much snow accumulation and where coming up in just a few minutes, Myra.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Adam. Well, as power outages continue to plague San Antonio, things are changing today. Water is becoming as big of an issue, if not more, at this point. SAWS has now issued a boil water notice for its users.
It seems as if the power and water systems that San Antonio has used for years and years and years are failing us. The announcement came during a special city council meeting. City Hall reporter Garrett Berger brings us the details. Garrett, what can you tell us about what SAWS is saying at this hour?
Well, Steve, SAWS CEO Robert Puente calls this a precautionary measure as water pressure dips in the SAWS system. When that happens, TCEQ mandates a boil notice like this one. Now, SAWS officials say pumping stations are also getting intermittent power right now, like the rest of us. And there are a lot of broken pipes in people's homes that are leaking water. That water has to go somewhere, which also means lower water pressure in the pipes. As pipes thaw, it's going to get worse as the leaks do.
It is safe to say that we're going to be dealing with this situation for days, not hours. As we do thaw out, the situation is likely to get worse, and more pipes on private property will experience breakages, and we will have a more difficult problem with maintaining pressure.
Now, also on today's special city council meeting was CPS Energy CEO Paula Gold-Williams, who didn't have good news either, stressing that a lot depends on the weather and getting generating facilities back online. She's estimating that the power situation we're seeing will last into Saturday before there's much relief. Now, Williams did say that they've changed the way they're doing the outages, invoking the outages manually rather than with an automated system, which drew the ire of many residents who just got a few minutes of power at a time. The goal now is to give people about 3 to 5 hours with power or going back without. I'm in the newsroom. I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thanks, Garrett. Again, we are hoping to hear from SAWS. There is supposed to be a virtual meeting underway. We're going to tap into that as soon as we are able to. Meantime, guests of a downtown hotel forced to search for a new place to stay today after they were asked to leave that facility. The Drury Plaza Hotel at the Riverwalk told people they had to leave by 1 this afternoon because of a lack of running and water and sanitation concerns. A staff member telling us that guests could not flush toilets, they couldn't wash their hands, and the hotel had run out of food. We reached out to the Drury Hotel's corporate office for a statement, but have not heard back yet.
More than 48 hours. That's how long just one local family has been without power, and they're not alone. Luckily, Patrick Samaniego is in the wood supply business. He was able to use his skills to keep his home warm. He's even used the wood to cook food like making a pizza. Not only that, he's making sure his neighbors are also being taken care of by providing them with wood too. He says in a time like this, you have to do whatever you can to keep those around you safe.
You know, at least be able to help out a little bit. I know it's tough. Some people can't even find a heater or generators. I know they're all sold out everywhere. So, you know, fire is the next best thing.
Patrick, thank you for what you're doing. He says they have gone through a wheelbarrow of wood a day. And just like him, thousands have been without power in San Antonio throughout the week for time periods ranging from a few hours to multiple days, with many asking how much longer will we be without heat. CPS Energy currently reporting 491 active outages, leaving 229,763 people without power. To look at how those outages are impacting your area, you can go to KSAT.com, look at our CPS Energy outage map.
And as many residents remain without power, multiple warming centers have been set up across our area. If you're stuck in the cold, if you're able to safely travel, we made a complete list of warming center locations both in San Antonio and our surrounding areas. If you know somebody who's in this situation, they can't get online, calling 311 will also get you this information. COVID-19 protocols will be in place at these locations. We'd also encourage you to call ahead to check availability.
As this Arctic blast continues across our state, millions of Texans attempt to stay warm in a million different ways, prompting fresh warnings about a potentially deadly threat: carbon monoxide poisoning. KSAT 12's Sarah Acosta with more on keeping safe while trying to keep warm.
Across the central and southern plains, snowfall blanketed states not used to seeing it. But as record-setting low temperatures fall, the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning soars as Americans struggle to stay warm. Tuesday in Texas, Houston police tweeted this picture: 4 people affected by carbon monoxide poisoning. A woman and child didn't survive. A second tweet said initial indications are that the car was running in the attached garage to create heat as the power is out. Carbon monoxide is odorless and colorless. Breathing in a lot of it can cause a person to pass out or die. The CDC says the most common symptoms are headache, dizziness, weakness, upset stomach, vomiting, chest pain, and confusion. They're often described as flu-like. If you start to feel any of these symptoms, get to fresh air immediately. The CDC says more than 400 Americans die each year from unintentional carbon monoxide poisonings. To avoid risk, don't run a car or truck inside a garage attached to your house, even if you leave the door open. Don't burn anything in an unvented stove or fireplace. Don't heat your house with a gas oven. And don't use a generator, grill, camp stove, or other gasoline or charcoal burning device inside your home, basement, or garage. Make sure all generators are 20 feet or more from windows, doors, and vents. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Local hospitals not only seeing cases of carbon monoxide poisoning, but also hypothermia. KSAT 12's Tiffany Huertas with how to avoid and identify these conditions in yourself, your family, your friends.
I've been freezing and I can't cook anything.
Like thousands across Bexar County, Stephanie Ellis's power has been going in and out.
I'm very concerned about my neighbors.
Extreme cold temperatures are already sending people to the hospital.
For example, for hypothermia, currently we have 6 patients at our downtown Baptist Hospital and 1 patient with hypothermia at Resolute in New Braunfels. And we even have cases of frostbite.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says redness or pain in any area of the skin may be the first sign of frostbite. Other symptoms include a white or grayish yellow skin area, if the skin feels firm or waxy, and numbness.
You'll start to get very cold, and then you may lose consciousness. Some of the signs that's different in very young children, babies, is that instead of their bodies will be cold, but the skin color will become reddish.
Doctors are concerned about carbon monoxide poisoning.
Try to remember not to use your gas stove and your oven as warming devices, because that could result in carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide is an odorless gas.
The CDC says signs of carbon monoxide poisoning are headaches, dizziness, weakness, upset stomach, vomiting, chest pain, and confusion. Tiffany Huertas, KSAT 12 News.
And while we're dealing with this winter weather crisis, Metro Health has also declared a blood emergency for San Antonio. That means there is not enough blood available to treat trauma cases or emergency surgeries. This was already an issue due to the pandemic. Metro Health says at least 2,000 donations have been lost due to power outages and canceled blood drives. The South Texas Blood and Tissue Center opened its donor pavilion, Chavano Park, and Northeast donation rooms today. Those locations will accept same-day and walk-in donations. To make an appointment, you can call 210-731-5590. The center says it will extend its hours at all donor centers throughout the rest of the week and the weekend, weather permitting. Meantime, our KSAT community partner, University Health, is hosting a blood drive to help fill this critical need of blood donations. That's happening March 1st and March 2nd at the Whitty Museum on Broadway. You will need to make an appointment for this. You can call the number that's right here on your screen to do that, 210-358-2812, or visit donatebloodtoday.com. We also have this information on ksatcommunity.com.
HEB altering hours, setting limits on items at locations in San Antonio. HEB says the majority of its locations opened at 10 this morning. They will close at 7 tonight. Other locations in the area surrounding San Antonio have varying hours. HEB has also set some purchase limits on some items. And if you use curbside or home delivery, the grocer says there will likely be limited time slots over the next several days. We have a full list of the limits and the store schedules right now on our website at ksat.com.
Now to schools. With more winter weather coming our way tomorrow, San Antonio schools have canceled classes for tomorrow, some canceling throughout the rest of the week. Blanco and Harlandale ISDs, along with IDEA San Antonio schools, have announced they will be closed through tomorrow. However, some districts have announced they will be closed for the duration of the week. That includes Bandera, Carrizo Springs, Southwest Independent School Districts, among others. Many San Antonio school districts haven't decided yet if they will be canceling any other days this week. These districts urge parents to remain calm, await communication about classes to find out if they're going to actually happen. We keep all of this information up to date on our website, ksat.com. You can also download the KSAT 12 app for any notifications about school cancellations or delays.
Still ahead, San Antonio not the only place experiencing harsh weather. A look at odd weather events around the country when we come back.
We are still awaiting that SAWS meeting to happen. It was supposed to start at 4:30. Of course, now that's very delayed at this point, but we are keeping an eye on that. We're going to bring you any information we get out of that meeting as soon as it gets underway. But now let's go to the weather emergency that's happening all across the U.S. Millions without power, mostly right here in Texas. Now the South and the Midwest are expected to get hit with a second storm today.
The Northeast also bracing for winter weather with snow on its way tomorrow.
The lights are out, the heat is off, and the ice is thick. Record-breaking cold and snow wreaking havoc on Texas. The roof collapsing at this Houston home after the pipes froze, then burst. In Dallas, icicles hanging from this apartment ceiling fan. More than 3 million homes and businesses in the Lone Star State without power.
This is tragic. We hadn't had power since 5 a.m. yesterday.
You'll see a blanket here and blue Scotch tape. We're doing anything possible to keep the heat in. In this room in our house, it is 33 degrees.
The state's electrical system's overwhelmed, causing outages and rolling blackouts. Houston under a boil water advisory.
We've been without power since Sunday night about 1 a.m. We need water. We need power. We got kids. How can we boil water? We don't even have power.
And now another storm is expected to hit the Midwest and the South.
We're still in this winter storm period. Please be patient. Power will not be restored fully, I would say, probably for another couple of days.
Oklahoma City recorded its coldest temperature in more than a century Tuesday, -14 degrees. Cars spinning out in intersections, city buses, and even an 18-wheeler stuck in the wintry mess. Salt Lake area mountains in Utah now under a rare warning for extreme avalanche danger after up to 60 inches of snow fell in parts of the state over the last 48 hours.
And here in the Northeast, we are also expecting a winter storm. Some areas could see nearly a foot of snow, and others, like Washington, D.C., are expecting a messy, icy mix. In New York City, Rena Roy, ABC News.
All right, the weather situation here, fine right now, but it is not going to be that way for long, Adam.
No, it's not. It was good to have the thaw today. Made it into the mid-40s, 45 the high temperature, and got rid of all the ice on the roadways, well, most of it at least. And it was good to, even through the clouds, have the sun just warm up the surfaces outside. That helps a lot too. However, here we go again. More travel trouble starting later tonight and lasting all day tomorrow. Mixed precipitation tonight, but then snow accumulations as we go into tomorrow. It's going to be a narrow swath, a narrow band of snow that develops. So let's talk about it. Looking at our weather pattern right now. All the action in East Texas, moving over the Mississippi. That's what was here last night. That's what gave us our freezing rain and freezing drizzle and our icing conditions. Again, luckily we thawed out. Now we get on looking to the west of us, and that's where we have this big dip in the upper level flow. And that dip in the upper level flow has another burst of energy embedded within it. It's moving toward El Paso right now, and that's why you see that precipitation starting to develop. Once that moves into our neck of the woods in the coming hours later tonight, it's going to kickstart another round of wintry precipitation. Our futurecast here, I think, really does the best job of describing what it's going to be like and when for various parts of South Texas all at once here. So look at this map, identify your location, and keep an eye on that spot. I'll call out the times for you. This is 7 p.m. Once we get to about 10, 11 p.m., we have rain out in Del Rio and even along Highway 90 to about Uvalde. That's just liquid rain. But after midnight and into tomorrow morning, we start to see that transition into the wintry mix, a sloppy mix, maybe even more freezing rain possible. Here in San Antonio, I think that would be after midnight tonight. Let's fast forward to 6 a.m. Mostly a mix of rain and snow. Not everywhere, but a good portion of South Texas getting hit. And even through 9, 10 a.m., noon, we're seeing a transition to mostly snow. So rain tonight, mix early tomorrow morning to snow tomorrow afternoon, and then tapering off. By about sunset, it should all be out of here tomorrow. Here's another way to look at this timeline, and this is for San Antonio. It all starts earlier in Del Rio. This is San Antonio. Cloudy at 10 p.m. By 3 a.m., a wintry mix of, I think, sleet and freezing rain. And it's not going to be everywhere, but about 30 to 40% of our area will see it. Then we get into tomorrow morning, what would typically be the morning commute, 8 a.m., and fairly widespread sleet and snow, then changing over to snow by the noon hour. As for the potential of a mixture of sleet and snow accumulation, we're thinking Basically, Rock Springs, Lakey, just about Uvalde to Del Rio. That's the bullseye of 3 to 6 inches of snow possible. You go eastward, and those accumulations start to fall off. I wouldn't be surprised if right through Bexar County we have a huge difference in snow amounts west to east. We could see 1 to 3 inches in western Bexar County and less than an inch in eastern Bexar County. But the potential's there, you see in South Texas again. So despite warm temperatures now, temperatures will be falling off. The precipitation moves in, starting as rain tonight in Del Rio, and tomorrow becomes that wintry mess again with further accumulations. Right now, down to 39 at the airport. Tomorrow we'll start the day most likely in the upper 20s for most of us, making it to only 35 into the afternoon. Friday, sunny and near 50. This weekend, back up around 60.
All right, we're getting there. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam. We continue to wait for the San Antonio Water System news conference. Hasn't started yet, was scheduled for 4:30. But Greg will have sports coming up next.
Here we go. Our San Antonio Spurs remain quarantined in Charlotte after the NBA announced that as many as 4 players have tested positive for the coronavirus. They were supposed to be in Cleveland tonight for Game 4 of the rodeo road trip, but their charter flight was canceled due to the health and safety protocols agreed upon by the league and the Players Association during the COVID-19 pandemic. Besides the Spurs game against Detroit on Tuesday and tonight against the Cavs, the NBA has also postponed Saturday's game against the Knicks in New York that had been pushed up to noon, and Monday's game in Indianapolis against the Pacers. As it stands right now, the Spurs have only 1 game left on their rodeo road trip, and that's the Oklahoma City Thunder 1 week from today in OKC. R.C. Buford, the CEO of Spurs Sports and Entertainment, released a statement that says, in part, our team is responsibly handling our health and safety situation and return to playing games as soon as it is safe to do so. At the same time, basketball is secondary as we witness the hundreds of thousands of people in our community who are without power and other vital resources. Our hearts and thoughts are with our friends and neighbors who are dealing with these severe circumstances. We hope that everyone stays safe, warm, and strong. It must be tough sitting in your hotel room until you have been given the all-clear sign, but at this time, at least in this case, the Spurs have the power of running water, which many of us do not have here back at home. And it has also been very frustrating that their rodeo road trip has been put mostly on hold now after such a great start with blowout wins over both the Atlanta Hawks and the Charlotte Hornets, and a schedule that looked extremely promising this season. For Derek White, he's just happy to be playing again.
In these last couple games, since I sat out that back-to-back, I felt a lot better, and I'm just gonna keep working with the training staff and get right.
Just a reminder, the San Antonio Rodeo has been postponed tonight and tomorrow's performance due to the continuing winter weather emergency we're facing here in San Antonio and across the state. Rodeo officials releasing a statement that says in part that they have adjusted the schedule for the safety of our rodeo athletes, livestock exhibitors, and volunteers. Here is the latest updated schedule. So Monday's PRCA Rodeo moved to Sunday at 7 now. Tuesday's PRC Rodeo moved to Saturday at 1. Today's PRCA Rodeo moved to Sunday at 1 p.m. and tomorrow's PCR Rodeo moved to Sunday at 1. All livestock events, no matter what, moved to Friday for, again, all the inclement weather we're suffering through right now. We have another batch coming in to have to deal with, as well as now a water emergency, and we'll see how that also affects the rodeo and other events in the city.
It's got to affect them.
It will, yes.
Thanks, Greg.
We'll be right back. Still no start to that SAWS meeting. We're keeping an eye on it. Thanks for watching.
See you back here at 6.